as networkers, an industry of team building, an industry of dealing with people, one of the most important skills you need is leadership. So if I'm to welcome you, I want you to understand one thing and one thing for sure. This is one of the most important skills.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I wonder where you are.
And having said so, the introduction to this today training is called the leadership mindset. When we talk mindset and talk leadership, they sound two different topics, but I want you to understand the mindset. It is the spirit behind a leader that makes them believe they are a leader. It is the spirit within you that I need to awaken today. You live here believing you are a leader. Why do I call it a mindset? The topic yet of the day, because if you check around, call any seminar, call a meeting and say you are calling leaders, how many people will show up? Very few. Because few people believe they are leaders. They think somebody is a leader because when our definer engakubiza ngithi mina, a leader may be a position. I don't have a position in my community, so I'm not regarded as a leader. So that's why I had to attach leadership and mindset and say, let's come out with a training that will help us as networkers. I've been into network marketing, I think, for the past 25 years, since 2001, different companies, and I've found one common denominator in every company. All achievers in this industry were leaders. All achievers were people who have taken this role of leadership. Not getting into a company and appointed a leader, no. It's not a position. It's a mindset. You need to tell yourself that I'm a leader. But before you reach that stage, maybe I need a brief introduction of how I started leading. Once upon a time in network marketing, I found myself as an amateur, somebody who knew nothing about the industry. And when I got there, I had the compensation plans. I had all the promises of good life and the lifestyle I wanted. And I ran all over like a headless chicken trying to recruit and try to build teams, try to sell. And trust me, things didn't add up. And I asked myself, what's wrong with me? What's the difference between me and these achieving people? And at the end of the day, I discovered the difference was they had a skill that I didn't have. And the skill was called leadership. So I developed the skill, not because I was born a leader, because at the end of the day, leaders are not born. Write that one down. Leaders are not born. I know somebody will say, but everybody is born. Yes, in that regard. But let me say, leaders are developed. So this meeting, this training is welcoming you to a leadership mindset training whereby you will be developed as a leader and you will be empowered to develop other leaders within your organization, within your community, within your team. A lot of leaders, when they are called, they don't seem to comprehend the calling. So today, our introduction to leadership will help you as networkers. Today is the 1st of August. We are launching a new month. And when we launch a new month, I want to launch new mindset in you. I want to launch new leadership, or let me say, launch a new skill in you. This skill has carried me through network marketing industry, or let me say network marketing experience, whereby I became a cut above others. So having said so, let me say, what is a leader? That is our first subtopic. Wrong impression says a leader is an upline. A leader is somebody ahead of me. But today, I'll use my leadership mentor's definition of a leader. First of all, he put it very plainly and said, leadership is influence, nothing more or nothing less. Leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. Keyword there, influence. When we talk about influence, it's one of the words you'll be asking yourself, where do I get influence? Ithatha ngaphi influence kanti? You need authority to have influence. Huh? You need to be nominated, voted for. Then now I've got authority. Now I can influence you, tell you what to do. That's what we think is leadership. In school, we want to be given influence, authority to say, you are now a prefect. Now you can detect other kids, keep them silent or ask them to do a certain call. Then you think you are a leader. I'm not talking about that type of leadership. Maybe in the community, you expect to be voted into a certain position. I'm not talking about that leadership. I'm talking about network marketing leadership. An industry that will make you deal with people. It's a people-oriented business. And these people are not your people. They voluntarily joined the business. They happened to be in your team, and you are to stand up now and step up to this responsibility of leadership. So what is a leader, good people? Very simple. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Let's talk influence. What umuntu is influential? Somebody has got influence on you. What do they do? Benzani go. What is to influence? Let's off ramp and talk about influence. Yeah.
Maybe like today, I'm the one who will tell them how to train on this.
Okay. So influencing somebody is to give them sort of is it an idea or an instruction? Somewhere, somehow. Okay? Encouragement. Okay? So, when we talk about influence in network marketing, whereby we'll be dealing with product sales, we'll be dealing with recruiting, you can measure your influence by how many people are buying from you. How many people are joining through you? Then you are measuring influence. You will never make somebody spend their money, hard-earned money, if you don't have influence with them. You need to influence them to believe you have got a solution to their problem. For them to join you, you need to influence them somewhere, somehow, to believe in you or believe in your company. So we're talking what? Influence. And when we talk about influence, even school kids can influence you. Even your children can influence you. If I was in a men's conference, I would say even your wife can influence you. If I was in a women's conference, I would say your husband can influence you. So what am I trying to say? I'm saying anybody and everybody can be an influencer. So leadership is not about age. Leadership is not about you are young or old. Anybody can be a leader. Because anybody can influence somebody. Do you know a 1-day-old baby can influence the whole house? They can get into a house at 12, The whole house can be so happy. Kuthiwe, congratulations. Amhlophe, uthole nje kule njabulo ethile. That came with this bundle of joy. That's influence without saying anything, just smiling. The same baby can cry the whole night, and the whole house can be awake the whole night. Do you understand? Sadness and happiness with a one old baby, they can be an influence. Do you know, sometimes as men, we eat what we see on the table. What is to be eaten at home, sometimes we don't have a say. No matter how you are a provider as a man, you can provide food or buy food supplies. But what will be eaten on the day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is influenced by the one who's in charge in the kitchen. They understand what a wife or a woman becomes a leader, becomes an influencer there at home. I won't talk that much about men. Obaba are influencers somehow from the old, ancient era. Back then, you'll hear that Obaba fellas and Hloko Zemizi, head of families. So they are expected to lead their families by influencing not only the wife, but the whole family. Yikuzezwa kuthiwa ubaba needs to lead by example, because engahamba lugeke labantu abakhe bazabehave ngalolo hlobo. Why? We're talking influence, we're talking leadership. So ngizama ukuthenga imind yenu yokuthi we are all leaders here. Before joining a network marketing company, you are a leader at home. Charity begins at home. Same applies to leadership. So as much as I'll train you here, I'm not making you leaders. No. Trust me. Seated here are people who are far much leaders than myself. Some of you have been leading before I was born. Some of you are leading in places of higher, let me say, be it in governmental organizations or non-governmental organizations, of which all I need is to help you identify and acknowledge you are a leader. Because you might lead not knowing you are leading. I'm introducing this topic of leadership. Have you ridden a bus? Okay. When you get into a bus, who is the leader there in the bus crew? You think so? Okay, you think so? Okay. The driver, the conductor. Okay, man. Okay, you are the leader. Okay. Okay, let's say you get your destination. Who stops the bus? Okay. Now I'm asking, who's the leader in the bus there between the three of you? Bus driver, conductor, and you, the passenger. Because the driver can't just stop anywhere. The driver won't stop without instruction or commandment from the conductor. And the conductor can't give the instruction without the authority from the passenger. So behind scenes, the driver is not the leader. They might be steering the vehicle, but the leader might be seated at the back seat. On that note, you might think the conductor is the driver, but conductor is the conductor. If we pick a little sentence, you might think the conductor is the driver, but the conductor is the conductor. He is conducting the driver, instructing him, it's time to go, it's time to stop, time to go, time to stop. If the driver is to travel alone without a conductor, that means he's not having a leader on that trip. Yes, this is the point. Then if conductor and driver are in the bus, the two of them, the whole day, without passengers, the journey is meaningless. It's lacking the leader of this journey. So one way or the other, I'm trying to help you networkers. We are to talk about influence. We are to talk about a journey. We are to talk about a bus. You need to position yourself in this bus. Who are you in this bus? Are you holding the steering? Are you the conductor? Are you seated at the back seat? And where is the destination? You'll catch up with my adage. You'll catch up with the why I'm using this story, but I'm introducing the word leadership. What is a leader? Influence. It is John Maxwell again who says, a leader is somebody who knows the way. Write it down. On top of influence, you don't just influence people anyway. You need to know the way. Know where you are going. Know where you are taking your people to. So when we say a leader is somebody who knows the way, let's go back to our story of the bus. Can you be in a bus not knowing you are going? No, you need to know the way. The conductor, can you be a conductor not knowing ibus stops onke? No. Can you be a driver of a destination you don't know now? Maybe yes, because the road is there in navigation, but no, you need to know the way. If you are to be. In network marketing, a lot of people join. Yes, there are products and services. Yes, there is compensation plan. Yes, there is motivation, but it's so dangerous for you to find yourself in a network marketing company without knowledge. When it says knowledge is power, it is very important for you to be a powerful networker. You need to acquire knowledge. Knowledge about the company, knowledge about the industry, knowledge about people, and you need to research and search more. We are not dealing with services and products in network marketing, but it's dealing with information. So when you lack information, then you won't be a powerful networker. So if you are to be a leader in network marketing, first quality you must have is to be knowledgeable. Know what you are doing. Don't just jump into a river, jump into waters, not knowing how deep they are, not knowing how shallow is the waters. You might either sink or even be washed away. So it's very important to understand that if you have to involve yourself with the network marketing, have knowledge. The problem is we don't like reading. We don't like researching. We don't like learning. That's why network marketing companies have got so much presentations, so much trainings, and so much training material for us to read, for us to attend, for us to learn, so that readers of today are leaders of tomorrow. You might be seated here or listening to me right now, and in the near future, not long, you'll be the one with this knowledge you'll get today to teach other people, to lead other people, because so impact knowledge. So you must know the way. Then I pele lapid definition ka John Maxwell, a leader is somebody who knows the way and who goes the way. Attribute number 2, goes the way. So knows, now we're talking, goes the way. Don't only know. I know a lot of people who have knowledge, but they are not using the knowledge. Knowledge is no longer power, only use the knowledge is powerful. That's why we've got a lot of educated people with the diplomas, degrees, and so forth, masters, but they are not using what they know, what they learned from those accolades. So academically, they are graduates, but practically, they are not living that what they know. Do you know any of those people? I always use the example of us students going to school and learning agriculture. What is agriculture? Okay, so it's something to do with the production of food at the end of the day, be it plants, be it animals, it will be food. Do you get my point? Then somebody with an A+ grades in agriculture, if you find them without food, what's the problem? They know, but they are not using the knowledge. Do you get my point? So it's easy as that, whereby a leader is somebody who shows the way. Is it a correct version? No. I always say, you can see Bakani city Harare so much kilometers. It's showing the way, but unfortunately, it's not going the way. It will remain standing there without going the way. Yeah, 20 point. Showing the way. So at the end of the day, I want you to live this dream. So let's say, Tina, what is a leader? You now have two definitions: a person of influence or a person who knows, who goes, and who shows the way. It's your choice which one will you take, but the question is, are you a leader?